I'm Kiwi,
And I'm Jared.
and we are the two gentlemen coming to you after the boys of summer have gone. Jared, how are you, mate?
Very hot, mate. It's very hot at the moment, isn't it? And also Christmas shopping. That's also in my direct line of sight at the moment. So yeah, it's really hot where we are at the moment, and I think it's probably our first really warm day yesterday, or and then today is going to be a scorcher. So that and yeah, like I said, Christmas shopping is well underway, and the usual shops we go to are packed now, so that's the fun part of December. Just going in there to do your normal shopping, and it's packed with people and the trolleys. Oh my, the trolleys are everywhere. Like this. Do you put your trolley back after
Yes,
you
I
use it?
once got told off for it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so
From then
sorry.
on,
I'm that guy." So I always
well,
put them back now.
I think it's a real, like, it shows you, like, do you return it or do you, it's a part of, like, you're either in one camp or the other. Like, there's no, sometimes it's, I return it now. You've been told off and that's your thing.
Look, there are many reasons to return it. One, obviously, it's a bit dangerous leaving your trolley around and
Mm,
inconvenient. But also, I think of it as being a worker myself. Like, I don't want to make someone else's job harder. I feel sorry for these guys driving around, collecting trolleys all over the place. Let's,
yeah.
let's do them a favor.
Yeah, just take it back. Just take it back. I mean, I get, yeah, there's probably some reasons not to, but the majority of the time, surely you can take it back. But anyway, how are you? That was my little rant about the world and the heat and Christmas, but how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm really well, Jared. Life is good. Went to ACDC a couple of weeks ago and saw some really old legends still rocking it. Angus Young is 70 and he was shredding like he was, in the prime of his life. It was amazing and
I
inspirational.
I heard it was absolutely amazing for that fact. Like obviously, the music is legendary and they are legendary, what they've done, but the the ability to still do that for so long on stage was what I heard people were amazed by and loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. The other great thing about it was the different generations that were in the crowd. We had really, really young kids to, obviously grandparents with them and just a massive crowd. Everyone was into it and it was just so
Yeah.
diverse. It was really, really fun and wholesome as well. I was really happy with it. It was a really good night. And I loved that Brian Johnson, the lead singer, his emphasis was all like, this is just rock and roll. Let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
And it was like a celebration of these guys' lives.
Mm. Yeah, no, it would have been amazing. So you're a very lucky man.
Yeah, I got to go to see them for free as well. So yeah, I was really lucky.
Added little bonus.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of, celebrations and people's careers and that sort of thing, I felt the same thing at Oasis a few weeks before that.
Mm.
Everyone was so happy there at that concert, and it felt like people were celebrating their career. And when the brothers held hands at the end and, raised their fists triumphantly, the crowd went nuts. And I felt like the crowd went nuts because everything was okay in the world again at that moment. There's like these guys who've been beefing for something like 16 years. They're touring
Yeah,
again, and this is real. Wow, we got to see this.
yeah.
It was a really beautiful moment.
I think there's so many emotions in there. Obviously caught up in the whatever you want to call it, the situation, but the relief that what people knew is when they were younger is still around. Like what they knew as kids or what they knew when they were growing up is like, oh, it's still here, or it's back together, or like I think that, like you said, is quite a celebration of the careers and the ability of these. I think Metallica sort of turned up as well, didn't they, recently? And the
Yeah,
same deal, and it's just that these guys are still good, still doing it. You can reminisce and you can go back to those feelings and thoughts and moments that you had, when you listen to them, whether you loved them or hated them 30 years ago. It just, it's awesome.
yeah. Concert season has been in full swing. Like you said, Metallica were here, so I think it was like Oasis, Metallica, AC/DC, and now Lady Gaga's here this week.
Yeah.
So it's been
Yeah.
going off in Sydney. It's awesome. And looking back and seeing all these amazing bands, like this would have been like the Beatles touring when we were in high school. Like that's how
Yeah.
legendary it is. Like I forget how old Oasis is. I kind of see them as a modern band. But
Yeah. Yeah.
what's the story? Morning Glory's 30 years old already.
I know. I don't think we ever see it as going to be. It's ever, those things are never going to be old to us, I think. And you finally realise, what the generation before us were, with their music was saying. Oh yeah, no, this is still awesome, and which it is. But we've got the ability now to sort of look back and go, oh yeah, I can see why they were so attached to that music and that time, because it brought back so many feelings and thoughts and memories and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And AC/DC was actually a generation before us too.
Yeah, it
So
was. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how old,
they were going hard before us.
yeah, before we were born. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
So Jared, looking back at music, it's one of those things that brings out the most nostalgia in me. Music and smells. You smell something that reminds you of your childhood. You're like, oh, do you remember that? Like for example, the 50-cent lolly bags we used to get after school.
Yeah,
That really crazy sugar smell that would, give you diabetes just with one sniff.
just with the smell. Yeah, yeah.
And of course, music is huge when it comes to nostalgia. And lately it's got me thinking about just where we are actually in life right now, because
Mm,
so much of what I do is based on my past. Like the music I listen to, so much of it is
mm,
so old. I've been going
yeah,
back to some of the music I listened to in the 90s. I've actually
same.
started up a 90s playlist and I'm like, oh, I remember that song.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I realize I'm actually 45 now. Not that
Mm,
there's anything wrong with going back to listen to the music you were listening to before, but I kind of feel like I need to start again in some ways.
yeah.
And the biggest thing that I've started in my life in the last, maybe 5 years or so is guitar and
Mm,
jiu-jitsu.
yep.
And starting again as an adult, I feel like it's almost like you've got to make this conscious decision to do this new thing. Like I'm going to listen to some new music, or I'm going to do
Mm.
a new hobby, something I'm not good at all. And I think it can be quite daunting for a lot of people, but I've found the experience really good and really rewarding. I really like being a beginner again.
It's a good. It's just good. I say it's a good feeling. It's a feeling you don't get a lot, I guess. The new beginning part, because we and look, I feel like we may have discussed all this over the years we've sort of been doing this, but you feel safe in what you know, right? And it's but there's a time in your life where you might not be able to do what you know anymore, or you've moved from that space, that headspace, and it's like, okay, now I need to find something different. But that first time you do something or learning something new, or somebody training you in something new, whether it be a new job or a new sport, um, a new diet, a new whatever it is you take up, a new hobby, like that feeling of being a novice, you need to embrace that, because you don't get that a lot anymore. And I think that's a really good feeling. It definitely comes with anxiety, but if you can take that information that you're given and try and put that effort into to becoming, happy with what you're doing, like reasonable with what you're taking up, the new hobby or the new thing, it's a really good feeling that we don't get a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And just the empathy you get as well by learning how hard it is to learn. There's so many
Yeah.
times, you teach someone something you're like, how can you not do that? And then you remember
Mm.
the first time you did it and how terrible you were. But let me tell everyone, I'll publicly declare this. I crashed a car the first time I drove it. It was actually around the corner from Jared's place. And it's something that's always lived with me. And it's kind of, well, not kind of embarrassing. It's completely embarrassing. And I still remember the moment. And my dad was speaking in Vietnamese. I'm misinterpreting what he's saying. And, moment later, there's a tree in front of me, buried in the bonnet.
Oh, I
And
think I vaguely remember that. Sorry, anyway, go.
you weren't home at the time, but one of our neighbors, you remember the guy that lived on the corner in that
Yeah,
interesting A-frame
yeah,
shaped house.
yeah,
He
yeah,
said he'd just had some dental work done and he thought he was hallucinating seeing
yeah.
that.
I don't think I was home, but I remember it happening, or you telling us. But yeah, that was
Yeah. So
that's you learn.
yeah, I learned. And, driving with my elder son, the first time I was teaching him, I was holding on to the door so tight. Like my
Mm,
knuckles were white. Yeah, because
yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like I'm just turn, but and I wasn't conveying it in my voice or anything. I was as calm as possible externally, but I was clinging onto the door because it's scary. And I had to think back, hang on a second, you were the worst driver in history. Like literally the
Mm,
worst thing that could have happened when I drove the first time. So I never have the right to judge any learner driver in my lifetime.
true,
So that was a
true.
good exercise in empathy for me. And yeah, a lot of other things as well.
It takes me. It's funny, like you just were speaking there, and it just sort of prompted my thought. Like when we're in the position where you were teaching your son to drive, like I haven't experienced that yet, and that's in my future, unfortunately. But but teaching kids or people or things, people like it's also a confidence thing. Like imagine, like you just said it with your music. Oh, it still feels like our music is still new. Like so, I still feel like I'm not an experienced driver, for example. But really, we've been driving now for 30 odd years, right?
Yeah.
And then if you said that to someone, oh, I've been driving for 30 years, and then I've had whatever I've had, a couple of tickets, one accident lately. That's not a bad rate, right? But and then to actually sit in the passenger seat and try and pass on, and you're just like turn because it's so natural to you, but it's hard to coach that, it's hard to train that, and it's hard to sort of teach people what and it'll be a scary moment that I think I'm going to have to face soon.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. I don't know if I just need to send them off to a professional driving coach because I just don't know if I'm be able to handle it.
Well, a friend of mine did that. She said there's no way she could do it. She'd be yelling at her
Yeah,
kids. So yeah, she had to get the
yeah,
pros in.
yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah. I mean, look, it shows that we've been, like the new beginnings and the learning new things. I think it's sort of with the point that I made earlier. Like as kids and as you're growing, you're learning things all the time. Like the time you're constantly learning things, that you're learning the English language, as a toddler, and then you're learning to speak, they're learning to walk, you're learning to do all this stuff, and then learning to drive, learning everything at school. But that slows down as we get older, and the more we talk about it now, I think it's important that you keep learning. I don't think this is anything new, but if you keep learning, it keeps you going, keeps you alive, keeps you excited. I feel, the more we talk about it, it really sort of, hit me.
Yeah. You're right. Like we kind of stop. Like once you get to a point where you learnt enough to make money
Yeah.
and to pay the bills, it's kind of like I'm done. You can check out at that point. You don't even need anything else.
And I know there's people like that I've come across in my life, my working life, so a lot of years that, as soon as you say there's a training course, I'm like, oh, do another training course. Like they don't want to do it because,
Guilty as
like you said,
charged, Jared.
yeah, yeah, and I'm the same. So I was just about to say exactly the same. Like I'm sitting in the same boat sometimes where you're just like, what do I need to learn this for? Like I know how to do my job. I know how to do things, and it's such an easy thing to fall into. I think something that I've learned, and I've recently sort of I've tried to embrace things like that. I've tried to embrace, if you get told you need to go to a conference, or you need to go this, or you need to go listen to a speech, or turn this on this online session. Like I've just tried to embrace it a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be hard, especially when you feel like you do know everything and all that there's not much more to it. But I think
Mm.
something that's really important is learning new perspectives and learning
Yeah.
to see things from another person's point of view. That's something that I
Mm.
have struggled with in the past. I've been like, just get the job done and just keep going. But getting the job done, like good enough isn't always good enough.
Mm.
And I'm learning that now. And something for me that's really important is teaching. So I've been a homeschooling dad for the entire life of my eldest son. So
Mhm.
that's 16 years now. So I've always had to look at, since I've been a parent, how learning happens, but specifically for him.
Mm.
And that's translated now through to helping out with jiu-jitsu classes. So I'm quite often paired up with him. So I'd always look at better ways or more appropriate ways to translate what the instructor has said to my son. Because
Yeah.
everyone has this feeling in jiu-jitsu where you watch the demonstration and then you get told to go off with your partner and practice it, and then the two of you stand there going, right, so what are we doing? You completely forgot. Because some of these moves, they're maybe 4 steps, which is a lot when there's,
Yes.
important details like weight distribution. It's not just where you put something, it's the feel around it. And the feel takes decades of mat time to actually get right. So, I've had to really drill down and find out the important bits of each move to help my son understand it better.
Mm.
So, yeah, just doing that has made me realize that you've got to keep evolving. You've got to find better
Yeah.
methods all the time because there's a different student that walks in the door that learns differently. There's a guy that doesn't even need to be taught. He can just see it on YouTube and just go, oh, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. He can do it straight away. But then
Mm.
there's other people who need to do it a million times to get it right or need a certain kind of language used. So for me, being open-minded enough to go, we're all different, therefore there's infinite perspectives out there to learn has been a great
Mm.
eye-opener.
Yeah. Yeah. It and we all have like that sort of like we all have our safe zones or our things that we're good at, like things that we know that we can thrive at and strive to get better. But I walked into sort of talking about martial arts. My youngest got invited to a martial arts party at a place near us, and it was just, they had 30 kids there and they ran them around, and it was all sort of basic kids running around stuff. But then they did a little bit of, bag work and real basic stuff you do at martial arts. They even got 4 kids out of the thing to break a board, and my little one got picked, and so she's broken a board with an axe kick, so which is a kick above your head and come down with your heel. And the look on her face was just amazing. And she come over with the broken board, and she wants to do martial arts now
That's so
and I'm like,
cool.
it is so cool. And I'm like, well, we need to look at things next year about what we need to do. But I'm like, that's a whole new realm for me. Like, there's so many people good at what they do there, and there's so many athletes there. And I'm like, I feel like a kid walking in there, and it's just that feeling is awesome. And to see my daughter, she's done particular sports up until this point, and just be a complete novice is actually quite good. And to see how she reacts,
Yeah,
yeah, it's actually nice to watch.
that's so cool, Jared. That's awesome for
Mm,
your daughter too. I'm just picturing her now.
yeah. Well, she's just got this like, when the board broke, I think she was a bit sort of not. She was just like, oh, how's this going to happen? But broke pretty easy. But it was only a little piece. But it was like it was such an accomplishment for her, and it's funny. The guy came over. I don't know if he was trying to sell, but he's like, is she done this before? I said, no, she's all right. So she's never done it before. Oh, you should. She's got like a bit of flexibility and a bit of this and a bit of strength. Like we could work with that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I don't know if he was trying to sell or if he genuinely thought, she had a bit of potential. But yeah, she heard that, loved that, and wants to do it. So yeah, it looks like we might be going down that path at some point next year.
That's really cool, Jared. And look, I'm sure he is trying to sell something too, but
Yeah,
clearly she's good. She's got great genes.
enough. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully she's got a little bit of got a little bit of both from mum and dad, both played sport, so she's got a little bit of coordination there.
Exactly. Now, Jared, it would be remiss of me and deceptive of me to not talk about something that I brought up
Mm,
in a few episodes back. I said I was going to enter a jiu-jitsu competition where I was
mm,
fighting the adult division. So I was
mm.
12 days short of 45,
Yeah.
and I was up against guys in their mid-20s.
Oh.
So unfortunately, I lost. I had
Mhm.
really bad prep. I know it sounds like I'm making excuses here, but this is speaking of getting out of your comfort zone and learning
Yeah, yeah,
um,
massively.
about everything. Something that I'm not good at. Like I'm not a competitor. I compete once a year at our internal cup, just simply
Yeah,
because it's part of the community, and I want to make sure that there's people competing, and if we don't compete, then there's no cup.
yeah,
Yeah, so the biggest thing I learned was that you actually have to take things seriously. You can't turn up and just fight. So I had really bad preparation, didn't eat properly the day before because I was working and running errands. And then by the day of
Mm.
the competition, I had no energy. So I got there, I was still on my phone like moments before my match, texting people, telling them what mat I was on to come and watch me.
Yep.
And I just wasn't there. But
You weren't in the zone.
I wasn't in the zone. In my first fight, which was against a 23-year-old, I did really well. Like had I had him in a position where I could have finished the fight, but I gassed. My arms just gassed when I was trying to
Oh,
choke him.
really? Mm.
Yeah, and then after that, I was just so gassed that I lost focus, and he swept me and got me in an ankle lock, and he wasn't going to break my ankle or anything, but I tapped straight away because I was just that exhausted. I was kind of
You weren't
relieved
even,
that
you had no fight. Yeah.
exactly I had no fight left in me, and after the match, like I could barely stand. Like the match didn't even last 5 minutes because I tapped it
Mm.
about 3 minutes something, and I was so exhausted that I couldn't even stand. Like I'm on the warm-up mats with my friends around me, and Erica was there, my kids were there, and we're just I'm just like gone. Then I had to stand up for my next match, and I was dizzy,
Oh,
and I
wow.
was like, oh, how am I going to do this? Anyway, this guy just comes straight at me, and he's way stronger than me. He was older though. We got put in.
Mm.
He got put in our younger division because there was no one here for him to fight. He was 38, and so still significantly younger than me.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
he was also stronger than me, I think. But I managed to get the takedown, and I was up 2-0, and I was stuck in his closed guard, and all my friends on the sideline didn't know the rules, so they're telling me that I'm up and telling me to hold on. So I'm holding on, and I'm trying to escape. So I'm actually
Yeah.
working, but um, little did I know, I'd been penalised twice
Oh,
already, and with 20 seconds to go, I got penalised for a third time, which gave the other guy points. But no
oh,
one
right.
knew. Like none of my friends were like, "Kiwi, you're going to get penalised" or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Get working. They're just telling me, "Oh, you just hold on, 20 seconds."
You're
So
just cantering. You're just cantering to the finish line,
yeah,
essentially.
exactly. So I end up losing that one by not disqualification, but by penalties.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a rough day at the office.
You're the bad boy of jiu-jitsu, mate.
Breaking all the rules. Yeah.
Dennis Rodman of yeah.
But something that one of our friends said to me before the comp was that, look, man, it's good that you're still doing it. Like it's good that you're out
Yeah.
there playing sports. And I thought to myself, yeah, like I'm actually competing against like the first guy I was up against, he competed in the Pan Pacs in Melbourne the week before.
Yeah, right.
And here I am, this 44-year-old, almost 45-year-old dad competing against
Mm,
him. I train three
mm,
times a week.
mm.
That's it. I do my stuff and then I go home. I don't do any cardio, don't do
Yeah.
any weights. I don't go to the gym at all. And here I am turning up and I almost won like both matches. So I kind of took something out of that. But it's got me thinking, Jared, and plotting my next competition. And I would like
Yeah.
to take it seriously. I would like to give it a real go.
Yeah.
And, talking about new beginnings, I'm actually consciously making choices of, what I want to do with myself now. I'm 45. I feel like at this age, we've got a pretty good foundation. We've got a great sporting foundation, intellectual foundation. I think we've got a lot more self-knowledge. We've got our family background now, and I think you can really choose the direction you want to go at this point in your life. As a teenager, you're kind of just, making it through the rough waters of puberty and everything, and all these
Mm.
different influences and peer pressure and everything else. And I kind of feel like for the first time in my life, I can actually breathe and just go, you know what, I want to do this. I want to go in that direction.
Yeah.
So it's a good
Yeah.
feeling. So
Yeah.
despite all the loss, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'd like to make a go of this. I'm going to enter the next internal cup and go back to the adult division and continue fighting young guys because I'm allowed to
Yeah.
fight in what's called Masters 3, which is 41 to 45-year-olds.
Yeah.
But you know what? I like playing against these young guys and I'm going to give it a go.
If you can, like, if you've, like you said, going back to your decision making, like you're making a decision, yeah, with a clear mind now, like you were saying, like it's just an easier decision. You're breathing, and you can go, yeah, I want to do this. Not I need to do this or I need to do that. But when it comes to your like fighting, like I I commend you for putting your hand up to want to fight those younger guys now. But you've learnt that lesson that the fight itself or the activity itself or the game itself should be easy. Should be the easy part. It's the prep. You know, it's nothing. It's nothing new. You said that guy was fighting Pan Pacs the week before because he prepped. like he wasn't far. You weren't far from him. It was just the preparation that got you. And that happens to every athlete at every level. And if you can tidy that up, like and give it a good go with reasonable prep and reasonable food and sleep and all that sort of stuff, and you're not on your phone and all that thing, like that's a learned lesson, right? That's something you can teach, and that's something you can take on to your next challenge and things like that. So that's awesome. Yeah, well, that's when's the next fights, you reckon?
I don't know. We're going to have what's called a no-gi tournament. So that one was in the gi, so the big,
Yeah.
karate-looking pajamas. The next one is no-gi, which is shorts and arashi. So I'm looking forward to that. I've never competed in one of those before, but that's more of a young man's game, no-gi.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's very slippery. You can't make grips on people. People are
Yeah.
really, really sweaty. The mats are going to be wet from
Mm.
sweat.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's going to be much trickier. You'll need to be fitter and faster
Mm.
to compete with these guys. But you know what? I want to give it a go.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a go for sure. I started running actually for new beginnings. So I haven't really told many people, but I started probably 2.5 months ago. So I'm probably in my third month now, where I'm just like, I've never been a runner. Like I've always been just be able to. I've always been match fit, but just never been like, if you told me to run around the oval, I'd be like, this is the worst ever.
Oh, I remember,
But
Jared.
yeah, I hated it. I hated it. But give me a footy and I'll run all day. But just tell me to run around in circles. I end up sort of hiding. And that affected me. Like that affected as I get older, I got less fit, and I got, I didn't have the ability to go as much as I did. And I noticed that, like in the sports that I'm doing now, that I was starting to drop off fitness wise. I never had that problem before. So I was like, righto, for health and for wanting to keep doing sport, I'm going to start running. And now I went for a run before this. So we're recording now at 7:00 in the morning. So I went for a run at like 5:30, and it just like actually, I sound stupid. It actually sounds like I'm, like I don't want to sound like that person. Like I love it so much now, but honestly, like if you miss a couple of days, you don't feel good. Like,
Yeah.
and that's where I'm at the moment. So I don't feel good mentally or physically if I, don't do something. So I'm logging the hours, and I'm getting up there. I'm getting up to like an hour a day. So worth of exercise. So it's sort of kicking in now. So I think I've now set the platform to hold, like, that whole thing, like it takes like, 21 days to sort of set that sort of
Yeah.
foundation. I don't know if that's the right time frame, but I feel like I've set the foundation now, and now it's just up to me just to move. And yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's new. I'm getting little soreness and injuries that I've never had before because, like having your body moving in a way that for so repetitively.
Yeah.
I've never had that before, so that's kind of cool. But that's a new beginning, and then it's a mental game, I'll tell you.
Oh, definitely. Running's so mental, and there's a lot of impact. That's why you're feeling all this. Running's a tough
Yeah.
sport.
Mm.
You're going to go through a
I'm,
lot of pairs of shoes as well.
I know I've already ready to go again, and I haven't like I'm not breaking any land speed records. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's just moving, right?
But you're breaking your records, Jared. Who cares about what
Yeah.
other people are doing? You're better
And
than
that's
the Jared from several months ago.
yeah, and that's the way I look at it. Like if I'm not like it's all, you hear people, oh, it's all about your personal, but for me, it's just like, I feel better, then that's working.
Yeah.
I'm doing this easier now. Like at first I was gassed after, 5 minutes. Now I'm getting 20, 25 minutes and going, oh, this is not too bad, and
Yeah.
it's or I choose to do longer. Like, like I've set myself, okay, I'm going to do this amount or this amount of time. And it's like, oh, I'll do another 5 minutes, and it's like, oh, okay, so you must be getting like a little bit fitter or a little bit more, mentally stronger. I think both probably.
That's awesome, Jared. That's really good news. And I do remember back in the day that we had preseason training. You weren't a trainer. You were just an excellent football player and you're really
Mm.
match fit, but you didn't really care for training. So this is quite a surprise.
Yeah, well, it's funny when and everything gets stripped back and you remove the game that I played, and then I end up finding myself just doing nothing.
Yeah.
like because I wasn't a trainer, so that but then I wasn't playing, so then what was I doing? So I was
Yeah.
like, well, now I have to find that whatever fire lit in my whatever to make me play, I had to find that fire for training.
Yeah.
So I think I've started it. Like I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a runner, but I'm definitely a mover now. And hopefully I can, next in the next month or so, try and keep it over Christmas and New Year's and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
That's awesome, Jared. Have you lost weight, by the way?
yeah, about 10.
Listen,
So
listeners, Jared, no one has to believe me, but I actually had a dream about Jared last night before we did this, and I only had 16 minutes of REM sleep, so there wasn't a lot of dreaming, and Jared was in my dreams, and I dreamt that he was really slim and that he had more hair. So,
well, there you go. Well, one half of it is
yeah,
not really
50%
slim.
right.
Yeah, I'm getting there, but yeah, the hair, I'm about to actually after this use my was it Pitbull shaver where it just basically it's like a little thing and you just like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
I know what you're talking about.
like yeah, sort of just sit there watching TV while I shave my head. It's like so close to razor. I'm like I'm done. I'm embracing the bald. So sorry, the hair thing didn't. Maybe my beard. Maybe
Yeah, you do have a bit more of a beard than usual.
I do. I do. Yeah.
Jared, thanks for sharing your new beginnings with us. And listeners, I hope that however old you are, you're still looking at learning new things. And they say you
Mm.
can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I strongly disagree with that. As a very old dog, I'm learning new
Yes.
things every day. I'm really enjoying myself in the process. Jared, thanks so much for joining us today. I've really enjoyed this. And to our listeners, sorry that we can't be as regular as we'd all like, but we're doing our best in our busy lives and especially leading into Christmas. But Jared and I haven't stopped. We're just always around and we'll keep going with this for as long as we can. Thanks, Jared.
Forever. Forever. Thanks, mate. Bye.